I want to put a new game on the map for you. This game, to introduce this game called Headquarters World War II, I am going to need the help of Mark Hardisty again, our World War II expert, or hexpert, as it were, from Epsom. Hello, Mark. You didn't change your
Hello
shirt.
again, Marco.
You didn't change
I
your shirt.
didn't know. I've got to say, because I don't wear Christmas shirts, I did actually take my jumper off. But because I have another announcement as well, it would have meant I'd have been topless by the end. So
Okay, so you'll be topless anyway, but in the next one.
possibly.
That's going to be interesting. As I said, I'm needing your help here, Mark, for announcing Headquarters World War II. This is a game we want to put in people's mind, where we don't have like fancy trailers or anything that comes with it, but we have a lot of visuals to show. Headquarters World War II is the next generation of turn-based tactical war game at Slytherin, and we're extremely proud to work with Starny Games on this product, using cutting-edge technology, super cool-looking stuff. So, tell us what is it all about, and we'll after that we'll jump into some visuals.
Yeah, it's turn based. It's kind of more standard Slytherin type gameplay. We sort of say it's easy to play, hard to master. There's a lot going on under the bonnet. Very sort of detailed routines going on, sort of working out what's there. So it's quite narrative driven. For example, we have a ex-military writer, published writer called Robert Lofthouse, who we brought on to help with the dialogue and just keeping it authentic. It's the Normandy landings, it's D-Day. It's played from three perspectives. So we have a British campaign, a US campaign, and a German campaign as well. And as you can imagine, with everything that's going on at that point, they are very different, the sort of campaign objectives that you have, with obviously a lot of the German ones almost on retreat that you're playing. So yeah, there are three campaigns, roughly sort of 9 or 10 levels per campaign. Alongside there, we have skirmish and multiplayer, and there'll be the usual sort of play by email turn-based tournaments that we get going. It looks very pretty. It's not hex. It's grid-based. It's looking very pretty at the moment. We have sort of top-down gameplay, but we also sort of can drop into a free camera, and some of the vistas that we get within the game when the developers are sending over new builds. It's great because a new level means that I spend sort of 20 to 25 minutes just trundling about in a tank, taking a look at some pretty scenery, really. So it's looking very nice indeed.
Let's take a look at just a short clip of.
I think we have something to show, don't we?
Yeah. Let's take a look at the scenery here. The first little clip about. This is all captured within the game, and with a free camera, so no pre-rendered anything. But let us take a look at this first clip.
So this is a port environment that we have. So yeah, this is all in-game stuff. We have animals. We have pigs in trucks. We have pigs, cows, and chickens so far, which are having their own dynamics applied to them. So as you can see, it's a really rich environment. I mean, it's looking absolutely gorgeous. This is the environment we're playing in. In some ways, especially later, things are destructible within the maps. So you have these lovely kind of farmhouses that are eventually destroyed.
Yeah, the engine here we're using is Unreal 5 and the goal we are having here is really to up the leveling graphics so that a lot more players are interested in checking it out, but also it's not only for being pretty. As you were saying, most of this stuff is pretty and is also interactive, as it were, so you can actually interact with the environment. We've got a second clip showing some destructible elements coming up.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are buildings that you can put infantry in. There are walls and fences that obviously give cover. And depending on the angle that are being attacked, will give sort of different cover. But yeah, it's all destructible. The buildings and the sort of cover. So I think we see the sort of sandbanks bags being smashed. There's a lot of wall action going on here.
It's all in engine, all in game. These clips are done for actually testing out stuff. So you actually see, this truck, this tank coming down. This one is touching slightly on the side and destroying a little house. So it's kind of doing a lot of experimenting with how destructible elements are. And what do you do when you destroy elements? What is it made for?
Well, I mean, for example, if you have a unit, some infantry in a house, obviously they've got good cover. If you are attacking them, firing a large gun at them, that house will slowly turn into rubble, and the cover will slowly sort of break down. And it's for them to either remain there or to sort of move to more cover. The levels were really pretty, and because authentically a lot of this would have been bombed before the battles are actually taking place. So the designers, through the next phase of the level design, they're basically going in and bombing these lovely sort of farmhouses and lovely sort of towns and villages. So when you actually come, it will be that authentic, slightly bombed out, smoke coming from buildings already. So there'll be a variety of sort of different buildings, some destroyed, some not destroyed. So the various cover will be present.
The game is I often call it some sort of battle sector, but in a historical setting because of the similarities between the two products. So in terms of forces you're going to control, of course, in World War II. So what is it that you're going to control within the game?
Yeah, so it's everywhere from kind of, we have because you've got kind of the three factions. You've got kind of British, the US, and German. So it's your standard kind of infantry, artillery, your sort of tanks and transporters. Again, all authentic for those factions that you'll be sort of controlling across there. Yeah, so I mean, it's I don't want to say it's your standard World War II D-Day units that you'll be getting, but obviously rendered very prettily.
Let's take a look at some of the tanks in action. It's pretty going to look pretty cool. That's also going to allow us to look at some of the damage system that we've got in place. Again, some testing on how they behave.
So to various units, I mean, a tank will have a crew, so it can anywhere from sort of 3 to 5 people within the tank, and sort of tank armor is sort of accurately sort of modelled. So firing from above, as doing there, will have a easier chance of penetrating, and the damage you can lose crew members. So, for example, if your driver's killed, it doesn't render the tank undrivable, but your movement will reduce accordingly. If your gunner is killed, then you might change from sort of 2 attacks per turn to 1 attack per turn.
You've got some pretty good model there.
Yeah, a lot of very pretty tank-on-tank action. Again, this is all all within the engine. Within the game, you'll have the option of having sort of these kind of cinematics switched on. So when you are actually fighting, we'll have some kind of cuts, just very short cut scenes like this to sort of show units spotted, units attacking you attacking units as well.
and also take the opportunity to look at some more nice looking sceneries there. Someone was mentioning earlier on in the chat, in the comments, that something was looking sexy. I think that if you like tanks, then there's a lot to be excited about here. But it's also, it's not only about how pretty it is, but we're really trying to model a combat system that takes into account some of the specifics of the single vehicles here. So it's not only important it looks pretty. The grassroots of what Slytherin is all about gameplay, and we want it to be a nice game to play. Mark, one thing I wanted to just focus on for a second is the title, Headquarters. We call this game Headquarters, this franchise Headquarters, for a reason, and I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that. Why did we call it that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the game is the tactical warfare on the battlefield, but there's a lot of army management that can go on as well in between the various sort of scenarios and the campaigns. So you take units from mission to mission. They will upgrade as you go along. They will each unit can have a different amount of skills that you can assign. So units will have different skills, like the same tank could be given different skills. You have hero characters that you can add in to units as well, and assign the sort of Michael Whitmans to your sort of German tank, for example. And these are kind of carried through. And on the headquarters screen in between the levels, there's some sort of powerful sort of management that you can do with kind of removing, changing, swapping sort of characters around as you move forwards.
Well, one of the things that is vital here is that this headquarters sort of element, this management element, sort of adds a little bit of an RPG, layer to the game, to the campaign. But also, you mentioned at the beginning that the game is narrative driven. This is the first time we actually do a narrative driven World War II game. A little bit of a challenge for us, and we've got, as you said, on board some pretty good writer to help us with dialogues and characters and characterization, which is very important. So it's not only about the fight, right? It's not only about the pretty sceneries and the turn-based battles, but there's a lot more that's going to happen around this game. So where are we with development? What are we going to do in the next few months for the game, and when is the game going to release?
So hopefully the beta will be in Q2 of next year, and we're looking for a kind of a Q3 September 2022, and we're also looking at console, Steam Deck, for probably late 2022, early 23, which sounds a very, very, very long way away. But so this is moving to console as well.
Yeah, the game system, as I said, is trying to sort of bring a historical flavor to some pretty solid, combat gameplay systems we've built over the years. So we've got kind of an experience in that, and we know that this is going to be our big challenge, to bring these systems to a much wider audience. And thanks to Starny Games doing an excellent job in bringing that flavor to some existing gameplay models that we built over the years. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. You've been great. Great